This video is an outtake of my trip to the United States. If you wish to see the full documentary about my overall experiences, you can watch it if you like. This video goes deeper in some of the places I visited. This video is a mix of reused and brand new footage. Enjoy! Just as I have my heroes on four wheels, so do I have my personal heroes, like Adam from fellow YouTube channel Rare Classic Cars. Even if you don't know him or his channel, check it out. I highly recommend his very detailed and informative videos on the many land yachts he owns. When I found out that he lives in the Detroit area, I just had to meet him. I was invited over at his place and we went for a little neighborhood cruise where he let me drive his Lincoln Continental Mark III, which also happens to be my all-time favorite personal luxury car. We also sat down to have a little chit-chat about cars and the YouTube side of things, which you're about to see right now. Once again, thank you Adam for having me over. And once again, enjoy watching this little meetup. Hello and welcome to this collaboration that you did not ask for but desperately need. Today I'm joined with
Adam of Rare Classic Cars and Automotive History.
And my name is Edward from edsautoreviews, and welcome to this, well, I guess just a little interview that goes deep into, well, maybe more the YouTube side of things, since we both are YouTubers, and also our shared love for and passion for cars.
We're very famous, right?
Yeah, sure.
In our own minds, at least.
Added up, and we're at what? 160,000 subscribers?
There you go.
That makes us probably the largest automotive history channel on all of YouTube. So
good enough.
Yeah. Let me just start with the very first question, because what is the very first video you watched on my channel, or how do you know me?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've watched a lot of the videos. I think what was nice is at some point the YouTube algorithm recommended your channel, and I don't even remember. I mean, you had I've watched so many of them. Everything from the Malaise era, you've talked about some Cadillacs as well, some historic Cadillacs. So I don't remember what was the first one, but I think what was really nice about the videos when I saw the first one was that it wasn't, you could tell it was somebody who was very passionate about the subject matter. And I found the videos to be really well done, well edited, and I was very envious. So for those who are viewers of my channel, it's the exact opposite of what, I thought, gosh, this guy really knows how to put together a video that looks great and has great content. And I also liked how you spliced in some of the content of old videos and really set the stage of the time of what was happening when all these vehicles were being produced. So I honestly don't remember what the first one was, but I know that
just gradually
I gradually got immersed into it, and I thought, yeah, you do a really nice job.
Well, thank you. Well, for me, it's a bit more clear because I just started to take an interest in like the personal luxury cars, and especially the Lincoln Continental Mark III parked right behind us. And so I looked for videos. You have plenty of owners that make videos. And then I saw your video, and I believe that is the very first video you made on your channel. That's like the review of your...
It might be. I don't even remember. I think you may be right. It's been a while now, but I think that's correct.
And the thing is, and don't get me wrong, but I saw the video and I thought, okay, here's just another owner in some suburb and he has this nice car. But when you did that review, I could already tell that you tell these details that only someone can tell from experience of owning the car. And that is kind of what stuck with me. And I saw your channel passing by every once in a while, and I believe I started watching when you had like 5,000 subscribers.
Oh, so you were an early adopter, I guess.
Somewhat of an early bird, yeah. And then from there on out, I kept on watching, especially your designer series, with the with the designers from the cars from the 1980s and 1990s. I think are absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And I really enjoy those episodes.
Well, yeah, I've known some of those people for some time, and I think it's a piece of history that often doesn't get talked about. And it's funny because even some of the designers who come on and talk about the vehicles, particularly those who are talking about the 80s era vehicles, I don't think their friends always like the fact that they're talking about them. They're kind of embarrassed by it. John is an example talking about the Cimarron, among some of the other vehicles, the 86 EK cars. But I think he and I both are just of the opinion, it's automotive history. Whether you like it or not, it's part of the history, and it needs to be told. And so thankfully, he's willing to put up with, I think, some of the little jabs he gets, you know, John, you did the sim run. But as you learn in the video, I don't blame him, and I don't blame the designers, and I don't think there's any one particular party to blame. It's a collective decision that was made. But when your design brief is, go take a Chevrolet, turn it into a Cadillac, and you get to change the wheels, the grille, and the taillights.
What do you want? What do you expect? Yeah.
What do you
really,
expect?
you can almost see on their faces that I don't like this either, this exercise. I need to do this, but yeah.
and I think he talks specifically about how he made up for it in the end by the second generation CTS, coupe sedan wagon, which I think people would say are some of the best modern Cadillacs that have been done, far outside of the mold of what he started on. So I think that's what, it's fun for me too, because I get to learn about those times.
Well, for me, it's also just talking about car history. I already have an interest in general history. You know, some people are interested in planes, others in plants or birds. Everybody has their own thing, and for me, it's cars. But for me, it's also, and this sounds very weird for someone that's 25 years old, but especially cars from the 50s and the 60s, it's just a way to escape and just go to another time when the designers had a lot more fun designing the cars and had a little less restrictions to design these cars.
I think you're right. I mean, there's so many different challenges now. And a lot of people say, well, can't they make something like that again? And really, they can't.
They would love to.
They'd love to, but you can't. You can't have hood ornaments, and you can't have wind split moldings. You can't have pointy front ends. I mean, now everything is so designed for aerodynamics, for crash standards, for pedestrian impact standards, that always dictates, all cars now have this kind of plan view tapering off to the side so the airflow is well managed around it. The car behind us, that was not even a remote consideration. Airflow management, I mean, that thing is all of a brick pushing through the wind, right? So the considerations are very different, and for better or worse, you can't really do that. You can't have, this car has no B-pillar on the side, so with the rollover standards that are in place now, you can't do that. The crash standards, I mean, my wife, I always joke with her that there's no airbag in the car, and sometimes she reaches for the shoulder belt. I say, you do see the 6 feet of hood and the 6 feet of trunk. That's your airbag. Now you don't quite have that. So
it's quite the same if, like, a police officer pulls you to the side of the road and says, hey, you weren't wearing your seat belt.
Yes.
And then you just say to him, well, have you seen the car? Will that really save me?
That's true. Well, and I have some that don't have seat belts either. Yeah. So no, I don't have my seat belts.
You've seen the steering wheel? That will be imprinted right here.
It will. It will, for sure.
But I don't know if, many of your viewers know, but you have quite the massive car collection. About, what was it again?
Well, I like to keep it a little bit of a mystery for the viewers, but we'll say that it's, over 35, less than 100. So somewhere in that range. You haven't seen all of them yet, and it's always, truthfully, the number is always changing.
Yeah, of course. And I absolutely love it because it's right in the same category as I like the cars, especially the cars from the 60s and the 70s. But what I'd like to know is, do you also own your all-time favorite car? Or what is your all-time favorite car? And that can be anything from, some one-off Rolls Royce to...
Boy.
Well, let's say something else.
I mean, I don't own any of them, but I'll call them the true classic vehicles, the Duesenbergs, the Packards.
Okay. Yeah.
I would love to own a V16 Cadillac or, like a 36 Packard convertible. Some of those Duesenbergs will never be in my affordability bracket.
Sure, but if money is also no object.
If money were no object, yeah, I'd love to have that, or a Darren-bodied Packard, or interestingly, some of those 30s era cars, not the Duesenbergs, are starting to come down in price to the point where they're becoming more affordable, but not yet affordable. The only doubt, my wife would love it if I were, actually she'd love it if I got one of those.
I can already see the twinkle in your eyes.
So yeah. The problem though with them is they're beautiful to look at, but to drive on modern roads, they're work. I mean, manual steering, manual brakes,
Unsynchronized
transmissions.
Yeah, double clutch.
So, with how fast people drive on the roads today, it's a little tough. So the nice thing about these vehicles is there's that perfect blend of, can I go 85 miles an hour, or on the freeway, 120 kilometers an hour, 100, and no issue. And I have air conditioning, power steering, power brakes. So to me, they're kind of that sweet spot. And of the vehicles that I want to own in that sweet spot, I think the one that I was searching for the longest time was a 67 Eldorado, which a YouTube viewer just sent me and I bought this black one.
Really? Just bought it?
Just bought it, yeah. I've
Okay.
actually got to the point where YouTube viewers are sending me cars to buy, and I bought two off of their recommendation. One was a car that I was looking for, a no vinyl roof, dark colored, 67 Eldorado. And so a viewer sent me the perfect one with 18,000 miles, and you just don't turn a car down like that.
Nah.
So that was one. I'm still looking for a 66 Tornado, but that would be the other one that I don't yet have.
That's also, oh man, I also love the Tornado. Or Tornado.
Yeah, that's right.
Cimarron made that mistake. I'm not going to do it again. But now, when it comes to the unobtainable dream cars, I'm kind of in the same spot. I think some of the most beautiful cars ever made are from the 1930s, especially those custom coach work.
Yes.
And I would kind of more move towards the French cars, so the Delahaye's and the Delages. I think those kind of like those teardrop shaped cars on wheels.
Tabulagos and things like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think those are absolutely the most beautiful cars.
Well, why would
ever made.
you just need one of the Rivieras, like with the sweep spear. That was the Delahaye Q. But no, those are beautiful, beautiful vehicles. I can't argue with that. I mean, I'd love to have it.
What you just said, they're beautiful to look at, but they're not like the greatest cars to drive. It requires a lot of effort, and I have kind of like the same thing with 50s cars, because I really like 50s cars. I would not pass up a 57 DeSoto, for instance.
Oh, no, me neither.
In good condition, they still drive absolutely well. But thanks to your videos, I noticed that American cars from more like the mid-60s to late 60s are a bit more mature when it comes to the driving characteristics. Maybe even already a bit less, floaty and boaty. Like, I might not be correct on this, but
I mean, I think what I would say is by the time you get to the late 60s, you have relatively modern braking systems, relatively, still not much steering effort, but good power steering systems, good acceleration, and power, very refined cabins and seating. They're starting to be engineered for crash standards as well. When you go back to the 50s and before that, you're in a world of beautiful vehicles in some cases, but they're harder to drive, and they don't drive. I would not, maybe the 57 DeSoto and the Chrysler cars are an exception, but they don't drive quite as well. It is interesting though, the Chrysler vehicles, like you mentioned, the DeSotos, especially after 1957 when they came out with the torsion bar front suspension, the torsion air ride. They are not overly soft. They're actually pretty firm riding cars.
Sporty,
which seems odd to say about a full-size car, but when you drive a Ford of the same year and then you drive a Chrysler back-to-back, the Chrysler is much more sporty. The Ford is much more nautical, and
you can really feel the difference.
You feel absolutely, and the GM is right in the middle.
Okay.
That's the best way I can describe it. So if you want sport, go Chrysler. If you want floaty boat, go Ford. If you want in the middle, go GM.
Well, that brings me to what is my somewhat affordable dream car.
Oh.
And that is the 1960 Cadillac. Not any particular model or whether it's a convertible or anything, but 1960 Cadillac. Because that's what the 59 should have been. I think.
So you don't like the super tall fin?
I think, and I'm a fin lover, I think that's a bit over the top with the double bullet tail lights. And I think the fins of the 60 are just a masterpiece. They were designed in 59 to have that kind of that wraparound, a sleek tail light, and I think it has a bit less chrome on it, and it's just a bit more understated. And I think just a bit more refined.
I think even the designer of that car would agree with you. That car was done by a gentleman named Dave Holes, who also did the 59. I think he did the 58 as well. But that 59 was kind of the supreme development of the fin, you know, very over the top. And the 60 does have a really beautiful proportion to it. The overall car does. And the 61, even the fin height is about the same. Obviously, the car was similar but different.
Yeah.
But I think the 60s, I mean, it's hard to argue that that's a bad looking.
I was just about to say, would you pick the 59 or the 60?
You know, as much as I love the 59 and the 60, I think I would probably pick the 60 personally, and I'd pick the Fleetwood. You know, I like kind of the extra doodads on the side, even though it's a little over the top, and the over the top interior. But I love how Cadillac kind of evolved from that to that razor sharp crease in the pants type styling, and that's what I most identify with. The 60, even as beautiful as it is, and I'd love to own one. It's a little round and kind of doughy when you compare it to like a 67 Eldorado that just looks very taut and
sharp, hard angles. Yeah.
So just my personal aesthetic. I think they're both masterpieces. So
I do too. Yeah,
I take them both.
Yeah. If possible, just take them both.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was wondering, just an entirely different question, but YouTube, are you a YouTuber? Are you day in, day out doing this?
No.
Or, okay.
Not even close.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a weekend, you know, vacation time type hobby that I started in between jobs. But no, it's by no means, I mean, for those who watch my videos, and I'm sitting next to somebody whom I feel is a master of video editing. My videos are usually single take, maybe one cut, and that's just for expediency more than anything, you know, just because I don't have a lot of time. This is something that's, you know, I've got a few hours here on the weekend.
Just quickly
squeak something in. Yeah. And I think the nice thing is I've been collecting for so many years, and cars have been my passion for so many years, that if I have to talk about something, I don't have to generally go and read up on it and do all this. It's just kind of unfortunately stuck up here.
Tell me about it, yeah.
Now, not everything. If you ask me to talk about Delahaye's, or you go further astray from American cars from 1955 through the 90s, I'm kind of out of, I know a little bit, but I can't talk for minutes and minutes. You want me to talk about a Mark III or Mark IV, I can talk for minutes on end about that, no problem. So,
and what inspired you, or what made you start with the YouTube channel? I mean, you wake up someday and think, I'm just going to do it.
I thought, you know, I was in between jobs. I purposely took a little bit of time off, which was, it's one of the rare times where you get to kind of relax, truthfully, in between jobs. And I thought, I was kind of sitting around after a few weeks and getting a little bored. And I thought, well, hey, I noticed these other car channels and they're good. This was before I had come across yours, you know, so it was some other more popular folks, shall we say, who were starting to venture into the classic space. And I felt something was missing there that I had to offer, that, you know, it was been my passion for some time, and I've owned a lot of these cars, so I could speak about it from an ownership perspective. And I thought, I'll give it a try, see if anybody's interested. At worst case scenario, I lost an hour of my time. And that's it. Yeah. I didn't buy any equipment. It was all on my iPhone. I didn't even have a microphone in the early ones, so you get the wind noise and all that. And I just thought, well, I'll try it. And it turned out, you know, now, of course, I look back on those videos and I'm embarrassed by...
I have the same thing. I have not watched my very first Automotive History Series episode because, frankly, I'm embarrassed. This is not how I would do it. If I would do it again, completely different. And did you expect to be where you're currently at? Because in talking of size, you know, subscriber size, if that's the measurement.
No, not even close. No, I anticipated, you know, I thought it would be something where I have friends who love cars kind of internationally. So some in Brazil, some just from, you know, where my job has taken me overseas. And I thought that'd be kind of fun to just put something together to share with them, because they're big car enthusiasts, but they don't get to see this stuff. And that was the motivation. I never thought that I would have, I don't even think 1,000 subscribers. I thought it was just going to be a link that I sent to my friends.
And just be done with it.
And be done with it. And I thought, well, if I pick up a few viewers along the way, And I also thought, well, maybe it's a way I can make these videos to find parts for these cars.
Oh, so there is also a
Yes.
reason
Yes.
behind it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I started my YouTube channel with some modest expectations. I thought, well, if I release my very first video about the tail fins, etc., I don't know, maybe some 10, 20,000 people will watch it. Turned out to be 40, I guess, 40 people that watched it.
40.
Yeah. And then just, you know, and I started out with like 10 subscribers, all of which are friends, family, and
That's
relatives.
good. Yeah, I like that, yeah.
You got to start somewhere. And I continued for a couple months, and it goes nowhere. Because who are you? You are a nobody on YouTube. You've probably experienced it as well, you know, at the start.
Yeah.
Just everything is slow, everything is... And it's around that point when I started to do a master study, urban planning, which was like a part-time thing. So I had to work and then study some more and then work again. So I had no free time. So I had to give up my YouTube channel. I quit after a year because it was not really my thing, although I did successfully quit. It was a 4-year course anyway. And that was right at the moment when I also was in between jobs, much like you. And at that point, I saw my subscriber count going slightly up.
Oh, interesting.
So like 1 subscriber
Slightly
a day.
up. You're doubling your subscription base,
Yeah.
right? 4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 8. Yeah.
From 10 to 20, whoa.
Yeah.
And I remember, I still lived at home at the time, and I remember coming downstairs where my mom was in the living room, and I said, I had 10 subscribers that day. And then, you know, you think, okay, but what would have happened if I continued with making those videos? And then I started again, and this was last year, so at the start of 2021. And then it started to take off. In like the spring of 2021, the first video going over 100,000 views was the history of the Pimpmobile.
Oh, wow.
The Pimpmobile subculture, you know, the cars like this, but even more like this.
Yeah, with more bigger vinyl top.
Right, with the big aftermarket chrome grills, the Rolls-Royce glue-on headlight type of things, and all the extra little details. So, and I'm about, well, I don't want to brag, but I'm about to cross the 100,000 subscribers as of this video.
Wow.
Who knows?
Now, this is your celebratory video then, right?
Kinda,
We'll assume that you've passed it.
Yeah.
So, no, it's great. I think it's fun because neither you nor I thought that we would be in this position, right, in a relatively short period of time.
Really?
Like you said, it's probably how long for you since the first video?
Well, that was back in like 2018, so officially I've been doing it about 4 years, but really just uploading about every 10 days or so is 1.5 years. And it's quite, when you look back at it, it is an astonishing growth. Not a lot of people that kind of make it like we do. I mean, come on, you're also at 60,000 subscribers, so with this rate, you will also reach 100,000 in maybe a year.
We'll see. I mean, as long as I think maybe same for you, but as long as it remains fun. And I think the best thing about it is the interaction with the people. I mean, especially these cars, I think one of the ancillary benefits is it's hard to find parts. The nice thing is I just say on my YouTube channel, I need a part for this car. And usually I get a few emails that say, oh, I've got one, or I'll take a look, or I know somebody who has one, or I get cars sent to me that I've been looking for. So the 66 Tornado or a 69 to 73 Imperial Coupe, yeah, I wouldn't mind one of those. But yeah, no, I think it's a great, you know, this isn't my normal day job, not your normal day job.
Nope.
It's a great stress relief, frankly.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't feel like work. It feels like fun, and I get to learn more. And for me, it doesn't take too much time. So fun doesn't take too much time. I get to talk about cars, meet people. You're over here from the Netherlands.
Exactly.
I never would have known you but for this, and now I've got a connection in the Netherlands. So I think that's what makes it wonderful. There's a lot of great people out there, and of course, there's always some not so great people. But by and large, I think what I've learned is a lot of car people are good people.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Have you been recognized already?
I have.
All right.
Yes.
How many times? Or
It depends. At a car show, at some of the car shows, like 10 or 15 people
Really?
come up to me. Yeah.
Wow.
I was recognized in the airport by the TSA guy who checked, the screening guy.
seriously?
In a restaurant by the waiter. Yeah. So, well, I think I think I'm up to 11 million views total, and about 60-some thousand subscribers. So, at one of the car shows, a designer friend I was walking around with him, and he had to actually kind of pull me away from some people because I was getting, but I try to be nice to everybody, have some interaction. I'm thankful, and I think everybody has something to offer. So,
well, I've been recognized.
I recognize you, Edward, so there you go. Count +1.
Then it's about, really 2 or 3 times. But on the other side, I'm in the Netherlands. I do not present my videos in Dutch. I do it in English. So naturally, my audience is mostly from here, the United States. I kind of like that. That you have 100,000 subscribers, but nobody knows you in your own home country.
But I think that's smart.
Huh?
I'll have to do videos in Dutch.
Yeah. I'll teach you.
Yeah, I need a lot of teaching on that one, for sure.
As soon as we're done, I'll give you a quick course. No, but actually it did happen. It was in the middle of the winter, COVID, but they organized like a little tour, but with your own car. And usually guys my age with, beefed up Volkswagen Golfs and Honda Civics, etc. Not really my type of people, because it's not American. But there was also a guy with a big 70s square Chevrolet pickup. And I was just getting in line. We were waiting for a traffic light or something like that. And he was, I believe, behind me and just about to pass. And that was the first time he pointed at me and said, "Hey, I know you. You're the guy from the American car videos." And that's the thing. I was there not with the intent of, hey, I'm the YouTuber. I'm here. It wasn't even about American cars. The whole thing wasn't about American cars. But still, I got recognized. So that's. And another thing is, I got to meet already some wonderful people through my YouTube channel. I'm now slowly moving into the Dutch American car scene. I got a good friend who drives a 1957 Plymouth.
Oh, okay.
Not Christine, just a year before, but in the Christine colors, white roof with the red.
A Fury, a Belvedere, Savoy.
Belvedere.
Belvedere. Mid-level. Okay.
With the 318, and every month there is during the summer there is a car meet, American car meet in a nearby town, and I usually hop in his car and we go there and look at some other cars. But this would not have happened if I did not have my YouTube channel. He reached out to me through Instagram and eventually went to a show together, and we became great friends. So what I'm trying to say is I do not meet a lot of fans, but in the meantime I already have met some wonderful people which I would not have met through my YouTube channel.
Well, I think in a lot of your videos too, you're not necessarily the face of the video. You've got really nice, right? Like it's not you front and center. Some of them true, and this will obviously.
Okay.
So now you're going to become more famous on your way back, through the airport. They'll recognize you.
Well, I should say I'm not camera shy, but we have this. Should we even talk about it? About the competitors when it comes to YouTubers? Well, you have
we can call them the competitors.
There is like the biggest one, a man from the UK.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, he shows his face every once in a while during his, also automotive history episodes. I don't really see the added value in that, partially because I'm hideous. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. But like I said, I'm not really camera shy. For instance, I do every so often car reviews, but it's not. I don't do it every day. So
I will tell you the one nice thing about. So sometimes I am in front of the camera and talking about different subjects. The one reason why I do it is not because I want to show my face, but it's actually easy editing. I just talk about something. It's more for simplicity. If I have to put pictures in and splice them in, it's more time. Me sitting in front of the camera talking about a topic for 10 minutes is pretty easy. So I can talk. Yeah, I can talk about whatever, some American car for that long. But
for me, it's still the extra challenge that English is not my native language. So, and that's the magic of the camera. You can take you can film it over and over and over again. You can do so many takes until it's right. But I will say it is always a bit of a, well, there you go. How do you say this? A bit of a hurdle?
Yeah, hurdle.
That works. To go out and talk in front of the camera and do it in English. But
I can imagine. I mean, I've worked, as the viewers know, I've worked in a number of different countries. I, at one point, was somewhat fluent in Portuguese, Spanish, and French.
Oh.
So, you know, I get viewers from Brazil, so obrigado, muito obrigado, gente. Or from France. You know, I was an exchange student in France a long time ago. So, you know, I can say some words there, but it's years back in my brain. So I can only imagine what it's like trying to translate and actively do that. But I think you do a great job, and yeah, it's a thrill to watch somebody who can combine the good editing skills. Doesn't, you know, it's not all, for me, I don't know about you, but I'm not big into the hype.
No,
I can't do that.
Absolutely not.
You know,
no.
oh, I bought the you know, worst car ever.
Yeah,
you know,
I know what
you know. You're talking.
I know the YouTubers.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't. I can't do that.
And that is once again why I like your videos. It's just straight to the point. No, not the nonsense.
Yeah.
And the hype and the wow, look at me. It's about the cars. That's
right.
what it's about. It's not about us. Well, today it's kind of about us, but you know, you have to give in a little once in a while.
After a year plus, I guess we can have a little fun.
Exactly, but it's about the cars and not so much about us.
Sounds good. No. Well, it's so nice to be able to get to meet you in person.
Really, yeah. It's a dream come true. I'm absolutely serious. That's why I reached out. I thought I'm in America. You are located in more or less the auto center of the United States.
Yeah.
Why not give it a go? Just, you know, send an email and see what happens. So
here we are.
And it happened. And I think that's a nice way to end this video.
Well, thank you again, Edward. It was so nice seeing you. You got to drive this car behind.
I did, and thank you so much. It's a dream car, and oh man, if I only got some extra time, I would love to do a review. But and thank you so much for having me here. It's wonderful, absolutely.
Well, when we're in the Netherlands, we'll have to get together. So
will do.
All right.
So once again, thank you for watching, and bye.
Take care.